Welcome everybody to Noodle Doodle. Yes, indeed. This is the BOT10ART podcast called Noodle Doodle. My name is Lazaro Gomez. I am your host, and we're gonna do like we always do, sketching this little thing right here, and kind of shoot the breeze for about 20 minutes or so. I use this podcast to kind of how do you say? I guess to like de-stress a little bit. You know what I mean? Um, if this is the first time you listen, I hope you stick around and you enjoy everything that I have to offer. Maybe it is for you, maybe it's not for you, but I like to think that you're on your commute somewhere, or perhaps right before you go to bed, or as you're waking up, getting ready, you get to listen to Noodle Doodle. So, yeah. Let's get started, huh? Let's see. Okay, so first off, let's see what our prompt is. And I have this little sticky here to remind me. We'll get rid of that. Okay, so we have a couple here. We have a voodoo doll over here. And we have a tiki idol and then also a sugar skull. So, what to do? What to do? I don't know. I think I want to. Yeah, let's do a little voodoo doll, right? Let's do a little voodoo doll. So yeah, I I just got back from Claremont Comic Con, and it was a rather cool experience, as it always is. Um, Claremont tends to be a smaller con than most cons, as I mentioned before. I mentioned it several times actually, but I love it. I love that con because just because of that, because it's a small convention. Um, it's a different pace, and this year didn't get as much traffic as it did last year. Like I feel like last year was a bit more busy. Um, but nonetheless, I had a great show. It was a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of people that I don't normally see, and met some new people, saw some new artwork, and it's always so neat to kind of see that stuff. But talking about conventions, you I don't know. There's something there's something there's something that happens with conventions, and I was kind of talking to my wife about it because this is the first show. Well, she's been to other shows with me, but this is the first show that I had my wife and my two daughters there with me. And one of my daughters is an artist, and she has a really big interest in art, and she's learning how to do certain things, and she's honing her skills. And this was a great experience for her because she kind of sees how she sees how everything works. She understands how the market is, and what people want, what people are looking for, the interaction with people. And it always happens the same way. Like if you're a brand new artist, you tend to just kind of like sit there. You you just sit there, and you're looking down, and you're not really engaging the people that are coming to your table and stuff like that, because you're shy. People are shy, and they don't exactly know what to say, and all these different things. So in talking to my wife, um we were talking about it, like the psychology behind the show, right? So like, what's the big deal? um why what is happening, what are all these things that may be occurring at the same time. You find all kinds of different walks of life, different different artwork. You have the highly polished artist, the professional artist, the person that is well seasoned, a veteran artist. that just kind of comes in and commands the show, like I'm no stranger to shows. I do shows all the time, and I tend to I tend to kind of um, lend I kind of lend my experience and my knowledge to other artists to that may be brand new to the game, and they don't know what to expect, and they're kind of scared, and they're freaking all out and stuff like that. So um, yeah, I tend to be a bit of a a bit of a mentor, right, to a lot of people, which is weird within itself for me, because uh, I do have people that are like mentors to me. So it is kind of weird to have that happen, but at the same time, I appreciate it. I always appreciate it, and I think it's great, right? So whatever chance I get to help someone along, I'm gonna do that, right? I'm gonna do that. And so a show like Claremont, I get to see that. I get to see people that are starting out, uh, that are it's a small con, and perhaps it's their first time, and they're not really certain as to what they want to do or how they want to do it, and they're nervous and all this stuff, whatever. And I don't know. I feel like it's my opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I was once there, just like you, and just be yourself. Have fun. Have a good time. Enjoy the con for what it is, and all of that good stuff. And um, I I like that. I like the fact that I can do that and kind of ease somebody's mind. And I joke around, but there's some artists that are like my art kids, and I met them at this convention, and they've they've obviously been influenced by me. They've done a lot of things because we talked about those things, and they're curious, and they have questions, and oh, how do you do this and how do you do that, and they truly 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 love doing these shows. And it's funny because in a year's time I've seen them grow and evolve and come up with their own style and their own things, and it's just so cool to look at and so neat to see. um, and I like it. I like it because when I was coming up, I didn't have that. I didn't, obviously I was influenced by people. I talked a little bit about that in my previous Noodle Doodle, when Stan Lee passed away. That he was an influence in my life. He wasn't a hero, but he was an influence in my life, and I learned from that. And that's kind of the way I came up. I came up just from, um, looking at other artists. I would look at Boris Vallejo. I would look at Jim Lee. I would look at Scotty Young, and Tim Burton, and all these different artists and stuff like that. And um, I had to figure it out on my own, right? What works, what doesn't work, this and that, whatever. And so for for these for these young artists, it's a bit of a shortcut because I'm there, and they ask their questions, and I do my best to answer. And even people that come to the table, it could be a parent, it could be a mom or a dad, and say, hey, look, they really love artwork. I don't know what to do with it, this, that, whatever. And I offer my advice. I offer my advice because I was once there. And the way that I grew up, my parents didn't really understand much about artwork, and they just didn't get it. And in their defense, they they really wouldn't know because just the stuff that I was doing, they just wouldn't get it. They wouldn't know. They did their best. Obviously, they did their best to support me and all of that stuff. They knew I liked artwork, but at the same time, they just kind of like didn't know what to do with it because here I was born in 1975. Um, you know, art college, that wasn't a thing. All these different grants and programs and stuff like that. They just they weren't an option. My parents came from Cuba, and it was before the whole invasion of pigs and all that stuff that happened down there. But they did their best to kind of raise their kids, you know, the the only way they knew how. And so those options were not available. Hey, what do I do with an artist? And my son likes to draw. So like I said, I learned a lot of stuff on my own, and it's no fault of theirs. It's no fault of mine. It's just that's the way it came about. So of course, I feel like I'm part of an art community, and it's my job to put that back. You know, um, I've been fortunate enough to say that like a show like Claremont Comic Con, I look around me and I see so many people struggling, and they're not making money and this and that, whatever. And here I am. It's easy for me, right? I'm making money. I'm talking to people, but I'm seasoned. I know what to expect, and at the same time, I approach those people and say, hey, you might want to try this, or you might want to try that, or don't do this and don't do that, and you know, it becomes a different thing. And I feel that if I'm doing that, then I'm giving back to the community, and I can, you know, I guess I guess it's like you're getting karma points. uh, but for me, on a personal level, I just feel like, okay, well, I know how hard it was for me. It's got to be twice as hard for someone who may not have that support. A lot of the times they're young kids, and by young kids I mean 17, but 15 to like 20, let's say, and they're by themselves. They're there. They spent money on this table, and they spent money on prints, and they're trying to work it all out. And yeah, they're gonna figure it out. It's not like I'm saving the day, right? I'm not their savior. Um, but if I could make things easy for them, yeah, why not? You know, I feel like things would have been different for me if someone did the same thing. If someone took me under their wing and kind of taught me what's right, what's wrong. I don't know. Maybe things would have been different. I don't know. But at the same time, I kind of feel like, all right, well, if I can do that for somebody and help them out, why not? Why not? So at shows, I tend to I tend to make friends with a lot of people really really fast, and we enjoy each other's company, and we learn from each other because at the same time I like I said, I'm a seasoned artist, but hey, I got something to learn from them too, right? I could always learn. I could always learn from somebody else, and that sort of stuff. It makes you think, right? It makes you think. Well, cool. I'm learning something and I'm getting something out of it, and so are they. And at the same time, it's like those are the kinds of things that you think about when you do these kinds of shows. So yeah, I got to see who I lovingly joke with and call my art kids, and they did really good. Uh, just in a year's time, huge difference between their presentation, their outlook, their outlook, the way that they interact with people, the artwork that they created in just a year's time. Like their artwork changed really drastically in just a year's time for the better, right? For the better. They said, okay, well, they stepped it up and they created artwork that was relevant, that people enjoyed, that, it was coming to the table. Oh my God, I sold another one. I sold another one. I sold another one. And, and it made me proud. I was happy about that. And then at the same time, I was extremely, extremely proud of my own daughter, right? So my daughter, she, like I said, she's getting into artwork and she's learning how to do everything. And she got 2 commissions at her very first show. And I was like, oh my God, she gets it. and and so, anyways, it was a beautiful thing, right? It was a beautiful thing to be an artist and to be able to help people and to help my own daughter and be part of it. And I was there with my wife, and I just, I stepped away for a minute to go to the restroom and to kind of get something to drink and take a little break because I was at the table for a long time. And I just look back and I see them there, and I was like, wow, man, that's my daughter. That's my wife taking care of the booth. And it was so cool. It was so cool to see that. And I've come such a long way from the times where I was daydreaming in school and getting in trouble. Like, hey, you need to do your homework. Stop looking out the window. Stop drawing crap on your desk. That's not gonna amount to anything. And man, what a what a huge difference, right? A huge difference. So yeah, huge, huge difference. And like I said, it's just so cool to see, so much of that happening, especially at this show. That's why I love doing Claremont Comic Con. It's such a fun show, and I love it. And then just seeing everything happen, it's like, oh, that's my baby girl. She's selling artwork. And someone commissioned her, and she, oh, daddy, daddy, I got a commission. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And it made me proud, and it made me happy, and I kind of feel it, like with my parents, um, it's like, hey, you know what? It's okay. It worked out. um, and of course, I don't blame them at all. I don't blame them at all. They did the best that they could, and a lot of my teachers, they were like, oh, your son's crazy. It's like, no, I'm not crazy. I'm just artistic. I'm very creative. I don't think the way that you do. So, you know, that sort of that sort of stuff. And just thinking about it now, it's like, oh my god, you guys don't get it. It's destroying school property by drawing on the desks. It's like, I drew it in pencil, man. You could wipe it out, like, it's not a big deal. I'm just I'm creating artwork and your classroom sucks. No, but really, just seeing everything happen today with my daughter, like I said, with Emma, and even my youngest one, Sophie. She has like this business mind. She's like business oriented, right? So oh, daddy, I sold you a print. Daddy, I sold you a print. And I made this deal with them. I was like, all right, well, whatever you sell, you get to keep, right? Oh, I made this money, I made that money, and she kept a tally of everything, right? And even that, like, I was so like, taken back by that. I was like, oh my god, you know, these are my kids. Oh, these are my kids. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of my kids. But um, and sorry, I'm looking for I'm looking for a piece of paper I can put here so it doesn't bleed through. So yeah, like going back to that sort of stuff. Um, it made me proud, man. It made me proud. I was like, wow, man, this is so cool. And it was the first time because usually I do shows with my son Chris, and he had to work, so it, he had to work, and normally we do this show together, and he knows the setup, he knows what to do, he knows all the prices, he knows if I need to do a commission, if I don't need to do a commission, this and that, whatever. He knows the routine. But for my wife and the girls, today was the first time that they oh okay, daddy's going to work, like daddy's working the show, daddy's working the convention, and just the fact that just the fact that they were there and they get it was was truly amazing to me, and I'm so proud and happy, and yeah, I just you know I get it. I get it, and we had it was a good show, and it was successful, and everything was great, and we had a good time, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have that. I'm thankful that I have that memory, and hopefully, obviously I'll keep that memory. But I just hope that moving forward I have more shows like that, and I could see my family evolving, and I could see my kids changing, and all of that stuff. And yeah, so today I'm a proud daddy. I am a proud daddy. Anyways, there you have it. There's our little voodoo doll. That was pretty fun. Man, your podcast is so exciting. uh, that's funny. Hey, look, if you can't poke fun of yourself, then what's the point? But anyways, that was it. Claremont Comic Con was great. I had an awesome time, and I was so happy that my kids and wife were there. It's just another notch in the belt. And we keep moving forward. We're gonna do a Tiki Idol next. So next week we'll do the Tiki Idol. See how that comes out. So yeah, there you have it. Thanks for watching on YouTube. If you're watching, thanks for listening. If you're on SoundCloud, thanks for all the likes, the comments you guys leave me. I'm truly blessed by them because I get to talk to a whole host of new people and meet new friends and new artists, and we keep the vibe going, right? We keep it going. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for all you do. And yeah, I'm really, really happy right now. I'm really happy right now. So I could go to bed resting easy with a big old smile on my face that we had such a good time. We sold artwork, and I got to spend time with my family. Um, that's really awesome to me. So there you have it. Thanks again. I hope that you come back for more, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week for some more noodle doodles. All right. All right. Bye bye. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.